Hello, I am Magzilla, and I decided to put together a little YouTube video to kind of talk about the collegiate season coming up for men's gymnastics, falling here in the United States of America. I've been into watching collegiate gymnastics for a while, and I feel like no one's talking about it, so I wanted to just put something online, hopefully start a conversation. I thought this would be a good chance to kind of just run through the different teams competing, uh, like the different conferences, and kind of just talk about what's going on. Also, I was just gonna put out some information about like what websites are good to kind of be tracking teams, and hopefully we would start a conversation, get some people involved, and just have some fun, really. So I'm gonna kind of just have everyone follow along through some of the websites that I find that are really helpful. The first website to be aware of is roadtonationals.com. This is a pretty amazing website. It's got like a whole women's section, but obviously we're tracking the men's section. It has a ton of like stats. You can even go into teams, like if I go into Stanford here, this is all last year, but you can kind of see like on floor they were second, high bar they were fourth, first on rings, first on P bars, and then you can even get into stuff like team consistency. It has like a bunch of stats and numbers and stuff. It's pretty cool. This is pretty fun. Impact difference, so it'll kind of break down different gymnasts, and you can kind of see like who would be like a solid person. Dun, dun, dun. Like Asher Hong is a good example, I guess. So, like it shows that his scores, where he's scoring the highest. So yeah, super, super informative, super great. The other website I want to make everyone aware of that's super important to track is collegegym.org. Like you can kind of see here, they got a bunch of like articles and stuff, just bringing a lot of news about what's going on, especially on the collegiate level. It actually goes and has like all the information on the different programs for NCAA. You can kind of see here, yeah, so all the teams kind of broken out here. And then if you come to the rankings, it just kind of pops you back into Road to Nationals, which is pretty nice. The other good information for men's gymnastics right now is mutual deductions. This is like a spin-off of the Gymcastic podcast. It's more international gymnastics. Like this is kind of going into like, well, this is like very USA centric right here about the bonuses and stuff. But some of the articles do follow the college gymnast. I'm not sure how into the collegiate gymnastics she's gonna be. It's run by Kensley. So I mean it's definitely worth following. She's a lot of good information. Then the other important website I always go to is the gymac.org. This is just GymAct specific, but it has a ton of information. They have like, information on the like board here. A lot of times, like they had a live meet they had going on recently. It was kind of just like, certain teams just going at it, but it was very low key, but like they like to do a lot of live stuff, and they usually have stuff on the YouTube, but you can find links and everything here at the GymAct channel. So those are the big websites. So in case you're not really aware, college gymnastics has kind of been losing teams in the past. Over the last 50 years, it's dropped like a ton of programs. So now there's a lot less programs, but it also kind of makes it fun because it's easy to track everything and follow the season. The first group to be aware of is the NCAA group. So the NCAA teams are, and these are in order from last year ranking. So Stanford, Michigan, Illinois, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Penn State, Ohio State, Air Force, Cal Berkeley, Navy, Army, Springfield College, William and Mary, and then Greenville and Simpson. Just to be like aware, Greenfield and Simpson are new teams. They just started like last year, So that's why they're like so far down here. But they're building, and it's going to be interesting this year to see what they can do. But all these NCAA teams are also broken out into conferences. And so even though there is an NCAA championship, I believe is like mid-April time frame. They will also have their own individual conference championships. So if you go into different conferences, so Big Ten is like this is a lot of the teams that have been around forever. I mean, these are all scholarship programs, and they do like a whole season where they're competing head to head a lot. So this is a fun group to track. The only thing is, I believe most of it is televised on the Big Ten network. So if you don't have that, it can be blocked. Sometimes you can still get through like on YouTube and streaming sites, but either way, it's a fun group to watch. It's Illinois, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State. They're all kind of East Coast teams, so they're close by, and I mean they'll compete multiple times throughout the year, and then they'll have the Big Ten championships, which will be fun. The other conference is the ECAC conference. So this is the Eastern College Athletic Conference, and they have Navy, Springfield, Army, William and Mary, Greenfield, and Simpson. So yeah, Navy, Army, service academies, they kind of fall in their own category a little bit. Then you have Greenfield and Simpson, which are both the new schools. I believe they're supposed to be like Division Two. I know this conference has like all different divisions. But yeah, like they're new teams. They're just building their team still. So they don't have like I think they have a full roster, but obviously a very young team. And then we have Springfield and William and Mary. Both these teams have been around for a really long time, but they're not at the same level as like the Big Ten schools. William and Mary actually, I believe, almost lost their program, and they were able to hold on. So they're dealing with a ton of stuff. Springfield's been around for a long time too, and so these two teams are really cool to watch compete against each other. I would say of this group, I would expect like Army and Navy to kind of be above the rest, but not too far above William and Mary and Springfield. And we'll look at all the rankings and stuff as we get into it. The other conference to be aware of is the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, and that conference includes Oklahoma, Air Force, Stanford, and Cal Berkeley. So this is an interesting conference. I mean, Stanford is kind of the standout superstar. They have like half the national team on their team. So they're really good. They did great last year. I think they've actually won the NCAA championships 4 years in a row, I believe. Oklahoma was really good. They're still good, but I just don't think they're at Stanford's level right now. Air Force is great as far as the service academies go, but yeah, they're also not really going to compete with Stanford. Stanford and Cal Berkeley compete against each other a ton throughout the year, but since Cal, I don't know the whole situation there. I don't think they're giving out scholarships anymore, but I think obviously they still fall within the NCAA program, but they're just not going to be at that same level as Stanford. I mean, no one really is, honestly. Cal Berkeley, I believe, kind of hits the middle of the pack. So that just makes this like a tough division in general, because like Stanford is probably going to run away with it. I would say Oklahoma's probably a little better than Air Force, and then Cal Berkeley's kind of on the bottom, and I don't really see that changing too much. But that's why we had the season. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? So we can drop back into like looking at what happened last year and everything. So this is a good chance. So you can kind of see Stanford is at their last meet they had a 422. That's 3 points above Michigan, and that's like Michigan's high for the year. If you look at their average, they're like scoring 10 points above Michigan on average. So you can kind of see how like just far ahead they are right now. Right now, Michigan could be really good. They have a really strong team this year, so I'm really excited to see how they're going to go. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll give Stanford a run for their money. Illinois is in here, looking good, solid. They actually had a great meet, it seemed like, in the NCAA finals, but you can kind of see on average they're a little bit lower. So, they had a great meet, and that's fantastic. They edged out Oklahoma, which is usually just below Michigan. You can see Oklahoma has very consistent scores. And then we can go through it all. Nebraska is always a solid team. Penn State is a really fun team to watch. They have a lot of really good all-arounders right now. You can kind of see they're all over the place. Like sometimes they'll come and throw big routines. Like look here, this was a 415. That would put them up in fourth place. But well, maybe not quite fourth place. But they're definitely in the running. Ohio State just behind them. And then so for service academies, Air Force is up on top, and then we have Navy, Army. Yeah. And this is kind of Cal Berkeley kind of falls in the middle there. Like I said before, William and Mary, Springfield, great schools, but they kind of fall at the bottom of the pack. But you can see they're pretty even when they compete against each other, which is fun. And then, yeah, looks like Simpson was a little bit lower than Greenfield. Greenfield's scoring a little bit higher, but actually they're kind of giving William and Mary the run for their money. So these four teams will be fun to watch this year. I'm kind of excited to see if anything changes. But yeah, so that's kind of what the teams look like. And then we dive into the GymAct program. So like GymAct is great. They have great coverage. Like this website has everything you need for GymAct. Yeah, and they're really fun to watch. But a lot of their meets are streamed on YouTube. They don't have like the high level of like the Big Ten, but they still have really good gymnasts. They have a lot of people who do like individual events that are really good. So yeah, it's super fun. Right now, well, we can drop into here, and you can kind of look at what GymAct was last year. So Arizona State's usually always on top. I think they've won, like over the last 20 years, they've won like 18 championships or something. Washington's been around for a long time. So Arizona State and Washington are kind of like rivals. Arizona State actually has a team of like 40 gymnasts, and they just like pick their top gymnasts for the meets. I think they actually field two teams a lot of times. So, I mean, they're just up there a little bit. They have a more depth. Washington doesn't have as much depth, but they're really strong and they have great years. And I've seen them. They have a lot of videos on Instagram right now, so they kind of look good. Like I could see it being a competition this year. Texas Armadillos is kind of up here in third place. They're an interesting story. Minnesota. So that team was dropped super recently. Them and Iowa both dropped at the same time. So they're kind of rebuilding. A lot of times when a college team gets dropped, they'll keep a lot of good gymnasts around for a little while as they kind of move towards graduation, and they'll kind of compete in the club system. But as they get along, a lot of those college, those like scholarship athletes or better athletes will kind of move out, and then they have a hard time kind of replacing them. Minnesota's doing pretty good though, and I think they could be in the running here with Arizona and Washington pretty easily. Iowa actually won the championships, I believe it was 2 years ago, because they came in as a new team, and they had a lot of depth at the time, and they were able to take out Arizona State. So that was super exciting. That was a crazy meet. Temple has been around for a long time. They're good. It'll be interesting to see how they compete with the other schools. But they have not notoriously been like up there with the Washington and Arizona State. And after that, we have Northern Illinois. Well, I think that's more like a co-op team. I think the only other one to be aware of is OUIC, but they're obviously not scoring super high right now either. But the thing to note is that we have a bunch of these co-op teams, and what that means is basically we have teams that are like in a regional area. So Texas Armadillos are out of Texas. They're not affiliated specifically with a college. They have like college age gymnasts, people who graduated and kind of stay in that area, and they can kind of compete on this co-op team, a lot of times they're competing like at their private gyms or working out at their private gyms, and they come together to make a team for competitions. So they're fun, but they're not like specifically associated with a college. I think they're really cool to watch when they compete against each other, but they have a hard time competing against like Arizona State and stuff. So that's the Texas Armadillos, and then uh, Southern California United kind of falls in that category of like a co-op team. Rocky Mountain is in there too. Rocky Mountain is like Utah and Colorado combined. New York Alliance obviously is in New York. They're kind of a newer team, but they've been doing pretty good. If I remember correctly, they had quite a lot of gymnasts, but they're not throwing the most difficulty, which is an issue. Then Northern Illinois, Georgia United's also really new, and Bay Area bands have been around for a long time, but they've kind of ebbed and flowed. I think they had some really strong gymnasts a few years ago, and it's kind of dropped off a little bit now. So we'll have to see how they do. But yes, this makes for a really fun division to follow. Like, I think if you're watching these teams up here, Arizona State through Iowa, like these are all like fun and competitive teams to watch and cheer for. And then like the co-op teams are really fun as well. So that's something to keep an eye on as we get into the season. Like I said, a lot of these gym act meets are pretty easy to find. They're usually streamed somewhere. Also, they do like online competitions, so the whole thing will be online and streamed. And so, yeah, it makes it pretty easy. It makes it pretty fun. Nice. So, what is going on with the schedule? So big things to be aware of this year. Like obviously we have Olympics coming up. I believe it's like, I think I had it here a second. Oh yeah, so it's like July through August. That's going to make things interesting as people are preparing. Like a lot of the Stanford gymnasts are on the national team. So I don't know how it's going to affect the college season if people are going to have to like dip out for certain meets. I know there's like the World Cup series and everything. But, it's something to be aware of. I mean, it is an Olympic year. The other big meet is Winter Cup. It's coming up in February. A lot of the college gymnasts will do this one. And then we have, I think, the Elite Cup is, it's the same time frame. Oh, it's almost be combined. That's interesting. I don't think there's a classic for the men's gymnastics this year. And then anyway, and then we have collegiate national championships is March 22nd to 23rd. Yeah, I believe that's like NJAC, maybe, but I'm not sure. We're going to get into it all though. So it's kind of the international stuff going on around this time that everyone's kind of working around. Okay, I'm going to kind of quickly run through some of the early season stuff. So yeah, this Friday, Army's going to be against Penn State. Like Penn State's a great team. They have a lot of difficulty, a lot of strong all-rounders, so this will be interesting. Like I would think that Penn State would win here. I don't really know much about Army. I know they just lost the Navy last year and Air Force, so yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll be good. Maybe I'll learn something. Then here, Saturday at 6, this is going to be interesting. Michigan versus Simpson versus Greenfield. So, yeah, I'm expecting. I don't even know if Michigan's going to come with their best guys, but I still expect them to do really well. But this is our first chance to kind of see the Greenfield-Simpson situation, these new teams, see how they compete. Cool. Oh, it's like not much is going on in Gym Act this first week. It's like Washington has something going on, maybe. Oh, I see. I think there's actually probably some other gyms coming to that. Huh. Who knows? But not much going on is the bottom line. Alright, going to week 2, we have, so this will be when we really start hitting the season hard. We have the West Point Open with Navy, Penn State, Springfield, William & Mary, and Army. Like I said before, Army will be against Penn State again, so we'll see how that goes. I think Navy versus Army is a fun competition, so it'd be nice to see how those two teams stack up. Also, I'm really excited to see Springfield versus William and Mary. I think that's going to be fun. But honestly, I think I have to get to Penn State here. I think they'll just take this one. California or Berkeley versus Stanford. Yeah, I think Stanford's going to take that one. Oh, and then we have the Windy City Invitational with Illinois and Michigan. Illinois can be surprisingly good, so this will be interesting. And then we have at the same meet, it's like Greenfield versus Simpson again. So we'll redo that one. Ohio State will be there as well. So this could be fun. See how Ohio State does against Illinois. And then we have Air Force Oklahoma. Yeah, I think Air Force Oklahoma will be good. A good meet. I expect Oklahoma to win this though. See, I think GymAC kind of starts up here in this next second week. Yes, I believe there's some meet here. Looks like an Iowa Invitational, or is this Windy City? And they might be in the Windy City also. But Washington will be at Windy City for sure. I don't really know what this is here. But Arizona State, Bay Area Bandits, and Storm, and Texas Armadillos. This could be fun if this is an actual meet. Oh, I think this is a Beach Blast or something like that. It's in Texas, I believe. So this could be interesting to see how Florida, I don't know anything about Florida. I mean, Texas Armadillos had some really good gymnasts last year. I don't know if they're still there. And I don't know anything about Bay Area either. But I would expect Arizona to do pretty well. Dun, dun, dun. Minnesota versus Iowa. This could be cool. Check out. And we'll see Washington. I think Washington can take this, though. We'll have to see. Anyway, jumping back over to NCAAs. We have week 3. Army, Michigan. Michigan should take that. Greenfield, Illinois. Yeah. We'll see. I don't really know much about either team. I would expect Illinois to have it. Then we have the Navy Open, of course, right? And then we have William and Mary versus Springfield again. So these guys are going to see each other a ton. Ohio, Penn State will be fun to watch. I'm excited for that. Oh, Rocky Mountain Open, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Air Force. This will be fun. I think these teams are, I think Oklahoma's probably a little better, but I think it will be competitive, especially at Air Force's home turf. Yeah, this is interesting. But Rocky Mountain needs to be a gigantic meet, and I don't understand. Maybe some of the GymAC is going. Let's look it up. Yeah, like Temple's going to go to Navy Open. Might be our first time seeing them. I think Rocky Mountain might be going to the Armo, possibly right here. But who knows? Not much going on though, other than that. Cool. Okay, we're going to start picking up the speed here. I'm not going to talk all day about this. Okay, so we kind of get into these dual meets here as we get into week 4. I mean, Stanford versus Berkeley. I guess it's the Stanford Open. This is a really small meet compared to what I usually see. Usually they have a lot of the college teams there. I wonder if some of the GymAC might be going to that. But Springfield Army could be interesting. I would expect Army to win. Ooh, Navy. But this is all pretty evenly matched, though. I think it could be good. And then Illinois versus Oklahoma. This will be fun to see. I think Oklahoma has it, but Illinois can be really surprising sometimes. Okay, let's check on GymAC to see if there's any Stanford Open teams. Oh no, Arizona's going to say it's going to be Arizona versus Minnesota. This could be interesting. Emerald City Classic. Nice. Temple's going to be in Florida. Georgia United, Illinois. So these teams are all teams I don't really know well. So this could be kind of interesting to see. But we'll keep updated what's going on. No one's going to a Stanford Open. It feels like. Oh, we have Iowa, Minnesota again. I think they could be kind of like rivals. Like I would hope that would be awesome. All right, what's going on in February for the NCAAs. Okay, so this is kind of the dual meet setup. This is kind of like what I like. Like this will be a fun weekend if I can get to see any of these things. Greenfield Simpson. I think it's like the 3rd time they're meeting, but by this time it should be know each other really well. I mean, Army Navy can't go wrong with service academies. Michigan Illinois. This could be a good match. This is the same match I feel like I've seen every week. Uh, Nebraska, I feel like this is the second time they'll see each other, so that could be interesting. And then, yeah, this will be interesting. I think historically I would expect Oklahoma to be a little bit better. Okay, so basically that got us into February. I don't know if we really need to go any farther. We'll just go fast. Oh, this is cool. So this is something you definitely want to be on the radar here. Is the All Academy Championships, Army, Navy, Air Force. Like they go all out for this. I think it's not. I wonder. I feel like I was able to watch this last year, but I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I'll keep looking, see if I can find any information on it. And the dual meets kind of continue. This will be interesting. Berkeley versus Oklahoma finally gets somebody else. Penn State, Ohio. I think this will be a tough competition. I think Michigan got this one here. And I think Illinois got this no problem. So we'll see. I mean, and who knows? I don't even know if it's 100% this is accurate. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. Oh, William and Mary for Springfield again. You see, like, they're buddies. They're always competing with each other. I'm sure nothing's going on. Yeah, okay, some dual meets here with the Gym Act. That's nice to see. Okay, we're going through February, I decided. Okay, looking good. I mean, Springfield, I don't really see them doing great against Michigan. But maybe there's something else going on there. Army Greenfield, Nebraska. Army Nebraska could be interesting. I would expect Nebraska to take it. Oh, so here's a virtual meet. Berkeley versus William and Mary. This would be a fun meet to see. And because it's virtual, I guarantee it's going to be online. It's like Vertius, I believe a lot of times they use. But I think recently Vertius has been putting everything on, what's it called? YouTube. YouTube for people to stream it there. Yeah. This is kind of lopsided here. Simpsons, Oklahoma, Springfield, Michigan, I would say. But who knows? Maybe they're better than I think. Okay, not a lot going on here. One more week. 2 more weeks. I lied. Oh, Winter Cup, the 22nd. So this is how everything kind of pauses for a second, and we do the Winter Cup. I'm interested if they did the same thing here. Oh, so Sun Devil Classic, huh? So that's a big meet for the club teams. Gym Act. But yeah, this will be fun. This is a great meet. Washington versus Arizona State, can't go wrong there. Ooh, it'll be interesting to see how Rocky Mountain does against SoCal United. I believe these teams are pretty evenly matched too. So it could be fun. And then it was March. Oh, Arizona against Washington, maybe, possible. What's going on here in March? Cool. All right. Nice. So some double headers again coming here. Looks like this will be interesting with Nebraska versus Berkeley versus Air Force. I think Air Force and Nebraska. I think Nebraska's a little better, but interesting. Oh, this is good. Michigan versus Oklahoma. That'll be very telling. I think Penn State's going to run away here. I hope William and Mary will get butt here, but who knows? We got Illinois here too. This is interesting. I wonder if they split the team up. It's possibly what they do. But anyway. So anyways, we get into March. It gets a little bit more serious. I believe. Let's just run through some more dual meets. I'm not going to go through everything though. Yeah. Oklahoma, Stanford could be fun. Penn State, Michigan looks good. We should be coming kind of to the end here. Surprisingly, not much going on. Oh, overshot. Believe in. Boom. Okay, so this is kind of the championships, like I said, like the what's it called? Conferences kind of break out here. So this is something to be aware of. It's that first week of April. You got your Big Ten. Boom. And this will be like, I mean, everyone shows up for the Big Ten. It's a lot of fun. And then you get your ECAP championships. So this will be interesting. And then, of course, what is it? The West Coast teams. Yeah. I mean, Mountain Pacific. We'll see. Oklahoma could surprise everyone against Stanford. Wouldn't it be ridiculous? But it kind of rounds out the season, and then they go into what is it? National championships, April 19th. This is what everyone kind of competes, and then they do multiple days, and so it's solid. We can kind of play Gym Act a little bit too. But, so the Gym Act season's super long is the thing. So they do a lot of these like head-to-head meets kind of later on, and there's like they have like eliminations, I believe. So, I mean, it's fun. See that they go virtual, and then they kind of, yeah, here we go. And then we do the All Stars, where the best of the best compete, and that'll be April 13th. So it's kind of right there with, I believe, NCAA Nationals around that time too. But anyway, that's kind of what the season looks like at a glance. We kind of rushed through it. I'm gonna try to break it out each weekend and kind of like talk about like what I think's going on and how people are doing. And it'll be fun. I'm gonna try to go into more like details about like what gymnasts are looking good, what's going on. But for right now, I just wanted to do like a general, just talk about it, and yeah, hopefully it's informative, or hopefully it'll start a conversation. But other than that, you guys all take it easy. This is Magzilla. I'm out.